Hello and welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast. I am your host, Sam. Now today we're going to be talking about feeling overwhelmed, but more importantly, how we can manage, manoeuvre and mitigate that horrible feeling like the world is coming down on top of you. So stay tuned and keep an eye out for some of the tips that we've got coming up. When things start getting a bit much, these tips could be what makes all the difference. But before we go jumping into what those lovely tips are, let's take a little break and we're going to have a little bit of a plug. So if you haven't already, please like, comment and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify channels, but also keep up to date with what we do on Instagram and TikTok, where you can find our reels and find out what it is that we do in between these recording sessions. And if you're willing to go that extra step further, please consider donating to our Buy Me a Coffee. Your contribution is what's going to help us continue doing exactly this and helping get our message out to more and more people. So if you believe in what we do, if you enjoy what we do, please consider contributing to our Buy Me a Coffee. Right, it's about time we start the episode. We all know what it feels like. Everything that could be going wrong, all of a sudden, at the same time, is starting to go wrong. Your to-do list keeps growing and growing. You've got friends to see. You've got emails to respond to. You've got work to think about. You've got errands to run. You've got more emails to respond to. You start struggling to think straight. You keep trying to put out fires, but more fires keep popping up than you can put out. You're doing your best, but it feels like you're on the fast track to nowhere. And all of a sudden you become pretty conscious. Oh, this is actually getting pretty tough. And then yet more things keep coming. More bloody emails. And they grow and they grow and they start to loom over you. And all you want is to just take a second and take a breath. Well, firstly, my friends, worry not, because you are not alone. The Mental Health Foundation did a study in 2018 and they found that 74% of people felt so stressed to the point that they felt overwhelmed and that they couldn't cope. Which leads me into our first tip today of what we can do when we start to feel overwhelmed. And that is, tell somebody. Based off of the statistic that we just mentioned, the likelihood is that they might know what it feels like. They might be able to understand, and it's an opportunity for you to get it up, get it out of you and get it off your chest. It also means that you can clear a little bit of space in your brain. You're taking it from up here and getting it out, shooing it away, get out of it, go. This is what I'm thinking, but you know what? Articulate that to somebody and share it. Problem shared is a problem halved. Tip number 2, an alternative to number 1. If you feel like you're not able to talk to someone or communicate how overwhelmed you're feeling and just everything that's going on at the moment, try writing it down. Put it down on paper. It's another way of getting it from up here, down there, somewhere out of your head that you can look at. The beauty of having it on paper is that you can have it all laid out there in front of you. And then that gives you an opportunity to then think, okay, I can step back from all of that. I can stop trying to internally process all of this, give myself a second, look at it all and see what I can do about it. It means that you can give yourself a little bit of order and a little bit of structure to what was not long ago chaos. Some of the ways that we can categorize these to give ourselves a little bit more structure and a little bit more order is writing them down in particular lists. Okay, what can you control? What can't you control? What are your priorities? What can you do something about now? And what can you do in less than 5 minutes? And those, putting them into different orders gives you different ways of approaching each task. For instance, the first thing that you can do, can you control it? Can you not control it? If it's not something that you can control, then give yourself permission to put it in the back burner for a while. If you can't do anything about it right now, then you can't do anything about it right now. Don't torture yourself over not being able to do something about something you cannot control. Save it for when you can do something about it. if you can do it in 5 minutes or less, maybe set aside some time and just chip away at those things and watch that list of all those horrible, ugly things that were overwhelming you just disappear. And of course, your priorities. Those are the things that you know that you need to do that might have a little bit of time pressure, or at least we're going to consider those are the things that you do first. We're not going to think about the time pressure, we're just going to see those as the things that you need to do first. Once you've written all these things down, and once you have put them into categories, you have given yourself that structure. You have given yourself that order from chaos. You have taken something horrible and made it productive. But a little tip, before you go steamrolling into it, one of the biggest reasons why we might get overwhelmed in the first place is that we're trying to do too many things at one time. Hence we get overwhelmed. You might be multitasking. Once you write them down and before you start going at them, remember, focus on one thing at a time. Put all your attention into doing it, get it done, tick it off. Number 3 is label what you're feeling. Studies in 2007 by Lieberman and studies by Vargo and Silbersweig in 2012 proved that when you label your emotions, it stops that response of fight or flight in your amygdala. So giving words to our emotions helps move us away from that limbic reactivity side of our brain and more into the words and meaning part of our brain, which we find in the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex. Obviously, everyone knows that. I definitely know that, and I definitely know what that means. So this tip helps us move away from that fight or flight alarm system state of mind that we don't want to be in, and helps us shift more towards a mindful one, where we can be a little bit more conscious and productive about what it is that we're feeling, which can be good for when you're feeling overwhelmed. If you're enjoying this episode, please consider giving us a like, favourite or subscribe, and a share would go even further if you're feeling generous. Thank you. Let's get on with it. Number 4, mindfulness techniques. You're feeling overwhelmed, shit is getting a lot. Okay, let's bring ourselves back down. And one of the first things that we can do is breathing techniques. And there are so many breathing techniques in my research. My goodness, the amount of breathing techniques that you can do. There are ones that are structured, there are ones which have extra benefits, but I think simply taking a step back from what is going on, focusing on your breathing, breathing deeply into your diaphragm in your belly, holding that breath and exhaling for longer than your inhale, that's a good first step. There are plenty of breathing techniques out there that you can go and have a look, see which one works for you. But so long as you're taking that deep, steady breath, focusing your mind on your breathing, then you're already on a good track to bringing yourself back down. Now, the next mindful technique is from Jade Wu, PhD, from an article in Psychology Today called grounding. And grounding is a technique where you note 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear and name, 3 things that you can touch nearby and can feel, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste that's nearby. And if you don't have anything nearby, it's simply being aware of what that taste is in your own mouth. This practice stops the overwhelm cycle. It stops everything circulating at 100 miles an hour and brings your consciousness into what is around you. It makes you more mindful of your surroundings and brings you back to that present moment instead of getting carried away in endless thought cycles. So in doing these mindful practices, we are giving ourselves that opportunity. We are taking a step back, pausing, putting ourselves in a position where we want to be, where we're back in control, and we can then, when we're ready, reassess and reapproach the situation with a more rational, calm and collected state of mind. Number 5 is an interesting one, but it is scientifically backed, so hang on there. It's cleaning up your environment. And the idea is that in bringing some kind of order to our environment, it brings us inner calm. And I like to think of it as if you're frazzled and frantically faffing, nice alliteration, channel that into physical energy. We'll touch on that a little bit more later, but if you can take what's going up on here, okay, get yourself out of that, and then do something physically, you're using whatever energy you're expending at that moment in another way. And this way, it's a productive way. But I did mention it was scientifically backed. So, this is from Michael J. Formica of Psychology Today. The environment with which we surround ourselves is very often a direct expression of where we are emotionally and psychospiritually, or our global state of mind. If we are distracted, we tend to lose things. If we are disorganized, the piles begin to collect. If we are feeling disconnected, the emails pile up and the voicemails remain unreturned. So look around you. If you're getting overwhelmed, is there something that you can do about your immediate surroundings to give order to your space and thus bring a little bit of order to your mind? Give yourself that inner calm by first instilling order in your environment. And number 8, move. Take a break. Stop. Park it. Leave. Get out for a while. Whatever it is. If you're stuck, stationary, stagnant, in your own head, doing 1,000 miles an hour, going absolutely nowhere, then maybe just park it for a while. Get out and go for a walk. That's something that's helped me. I mentioned in the last episode when I was in Australia, I was getting very overwhelmed and things were getting very intense in between my ears. And so what I did is I got up and I left. And I went and found somewhere. I went amongst nature for a while. And it was great. It was a really nice solution to my problem. But I see it as, we mentioned a moment ago, channeling all that mental energy that's going on, that's going absolutely nowhere, and changing it to physical energy. We're just altering what it is that we're expending. And it gives you that time in nature, wherever it is, that peace, that serenity of actually physically moving. And it takes away that attention from the mental and gives it to the physical. If your way of processing that overwhelm preferentially isn't a calm, serene and quiet walk in nature, perhaps your movement might be a little bit more physically intensive. Maybe you want to go to the gym. Maybe you want to lift heavy things as a way of processing everything that's going up on there. Keep things simple. That's all it needs to be. For me, personally, my goodness, it sounds bad, but it also kind of makes a lot of sense. My way of dealing with stress and overwhelm is finding a big heavy bag and just beating the shit out of it. Oh my goodness, I love it. Kickboxing and boxing for stress relief. My goodness, there has not been anything else better for me as an individual to get rid of what's going on up here and just alleviate that. I can channel everything that's going on up in my brain, and I can not only focus the direction in which I expend it, but I can also get rid of it physically, and I can vent that anger, that stress, that overwhelm, this, why can't I figure this out? And just bang it out on a bag. It's fantastic for me. So much that when I don't kick or punch something for a while, I get a little bit antsy, I get a little bit frustrated, and it's become such a... You get my point. If you have more of a physical routine, then that can also be a great tool for helping process and productively use that state of overwhelm that you might be feeling. Okay, and those were our 8 tips on how to manage, maneuver and mitigate that horrible feeling of overwhelm. Now, we couldn't get all of them because there are, I'm sure, an innumerable number of ways. We did our best to find what scientific ways that there were, and we got some pretty interesting results in our research. But please, if there's something that works for you, there is a good chance that it'll work for somebody else. So leave us a comment. Send us an email, whatever it is, get in touch with some way or another and we will see it. We will be sure to see it. How do you do it? What is your way of doing it? Because that might help somebody else. Before we sign off, please consider a like, a favourite, a comment, a subscribe, or share. Let somebody know. Is there someone that could do with knowing what it is that we're doing? Is there someone that could benefit from the message that we're putting out there? Let them know. Or let somebody else know. You never know who it might help. You never know who's going through something. This has been the Air and Out podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you guys. Please take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week.